Hi guys, it's Deanna from Gardens Glory, and I am in the basement today in my grow room. And today we're going to talk about 5 things to focus on when you bring plants in from outside. And so while I'm doing that, I'm going to be cleaning up this room. It is totally gotten to be quite the mess. During Christmas, I was decorating, not taking care of these poor plants. And so it's just looking pretty. I mean, you can see the plants are looking pretty ratty, and I just need to get things cleaned up. And I'm going to explain to you those 5 things that really help when you're moving plants indoors and what to look for and take care of. So we're going to go ahead and get that started. And hopefully when we get done, we will have a much more effective grow room, because soon I'm so excited, it's time to start seeds. So my daughter's wedding is this year, and I'm going to be growing some flowers for her wedding, and so I'm going to be doing a lot of seed starting. So this room has to look good, but it also has to function, because I need to start tons of seed. I also start a ton of seed, well, I shouldn't say a ton, I start some seed for my church. So we have a giving garden where people go and make bouquets for people who are shut-ins or going through something, hard. So anyway, I grow for them. So I gotta have all this stuff has to be in order, and I have to have room, and I have to have the grow lights put in place that I got for Christmas. So that's what we're gonna go ahead and get started on. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is I wanna talk about light. So that's number 1. So these plants down here are getting some light from that shop light up there, but they're not getting enough light. And all of these plants, really. I mean, the coleus on the ground get enough light, but some of these other things are not probably getting enough light. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move these plants out of the way. I'm gonna put up a table, and I'm going to then rearrange everything, and we'll talk about number 2. Okay, so the next thing I decided to do was just vacuum all the leaves up from the floor, so that wouldn't be so messy and hard to get to after I put up the table. So now I'm gonna go ahead and put up the table, and I think we're gonna start grooming the plants that are on the back table and then clean that table. Okay, so guys, the next thing I wanna show you is things that you should be looking for are when you see things like this, where this plant just looks like it's dying. That tells me something is going on in here, in this pot. And I have a feeling I know what it is, that it's some kind of bug. I do have slugs that I brought in, and one thing you want to look for, and I'm going to show you on a different plant, for slugs is slime. Like, they leave this like sparkly, clear slime, and I'm not really seeing that this plant is looking pretty bad. So I don't know if it's got bugs on it or not, but what we're gonna do is we're just gonna cut it completely back. Now this right here that you see in the middle, still got a couple of leaves left. This is actually a blueberry. So let's just cut this all the way back. And see if we see anything while we're doing it. I already pulled a humongous slug out of a pot. Whoops, something just took off. Okay, so we do have roly-polies. That's one thing. Now, I was always under the impression that roly-polies only eat things that are already decaying and dying. That they don't like make things die. But I don't really know if that's true or not. So I'm gonna kind of groom off these little dead leaves, get as many of the dead leaves out, because you don't want to be overwintering more bad bugs. But my main reason for bringing this plant in anyways was that it is a blueberry, so it's like a shrub. So I thought, I knew I couldn't leave it in the pot, because if you leave it in the pot, then it's going to, oh, I see another roly-poly. if you leave it in the pot, if you don't have a warm enough temperature outside, one, your pot's gonna break, and two, your plant's gonna die. So that was my reasoning for bringing it in. This petunia was really just a seed that kind of started itself, so not that exciting. All right, so we got that one done. I want to show you again about, we talked about light, having the right light. See this? How pretty this would be? I think it's not doing well because it hasn't had great light. So it's reaching. So it's stretching out, not looking very happy. So my main point in bringing this one in was really just to keep it alive. If it doesn't look that great while it's in here, I don't care. But I thought that, you know, as long as I can keep it alive, I can cut it back when I take it out in the spring, and I think it'll fill out really nicely. So I'm just gonna leave it alone and put it in better light. So this is what I wanted to show you guys close up. I am hoping you can see it. I don't know, let me find a good spot of it. Okay. Can you see? I don't know if you can see it, but all along this branch is sparkling. On this leaf is, there you go, it's sparkling. That is from slugs. So I know there's a slug in here, at least one. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna cut this back so that I can A, see better, and B, that's another thing that you want to do with your plants that you bring indoors, is give them a haircut, because, you know, they're not in prime, they're not in a prime situation to grow. And so cutting them back just gives them extra energy to go forth. And then also cutting them back helps to really get rid of any diseased leaves and be able to see what's really going on in there. All right, so we're coming along here. And you want to take it back, either if it's like a stick like that. If it's a stick like this, you'll want to take it all the way back. If it's got a new leaf coming, you'll want to take it to that new leaf node. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get in here and really see if I can find any slugs. I think, nope. And I may have gotten the one already. The one that I found may have been the one, but I'm not sure. So at least kind of rooting around in here helps you to, you know, you can kind of put your fingers in there. I do feel that it's very dry. I may not be giving it enough water also. But again, a lot of this is just to keep things alive over the winter, and then they will just bounce back in a major way when you put them back outside. All right, so that one's all nice and cut back. And so I think I'm gonna keep trimming things up, and I'll get back to you when we get to the next talking point. Okay, so this is a plectranthus, and I want to show you how I kind of get the old and dying leaves off of it. Pretty simple. Literally just kind of gently wiggle it around, and dead stuff will just fall off of it. And this one is looking pretty good. I don't think I'm going to trim it back, except for if you look at over here, see how it's looking a little sparse on the back side? I think I'm going to get all these leaves out and then just cut off the dead stems, or the ones that are really drooping and not looking very good. This is actually a new tendril, but I'm going to take that off to kind of make it look a little bit more uniform. We'll take out a few more leaves. All right, I'd say that one's looking pretty nice. You know, by taking out all these leaves, you're just giving it more energy to what you want it to do. And also another thing you really should do while they're inside is cut off the blooms, because honestly the blooms don't really help the plant at all, because it takes away energy from the roots. And unless you're really, really enjoying them, I would just take them off. Okay, so another thing I want to talk about, so far we've talked about they need the right amount of light. We've talked about they need to be cut back. And now we're going to talk about air. They need really good airflow. So if you look at this, let me turn you a bit. I only had the one table up, and everything is somewhat spread out, but really not enough. So I want to make sure these have really good airflow. So that's why I added the new table, and everything will have more space so that they're not getting, you know, funguses and stuff like that. All right, when I'm moving these around, guys, I'm also looking on the table for bugs when I move the pots to see what kind of bugs are coming out from the bottom. And that's a way to kind of also kill off some more. You know, I think it's a really great idea to come in here at least every month and really take everything apart, clean everything up, clean all your plants up and all the dried leaves that are on the table and on the floor, and just get everything kind of a rejuvenation, look over and check and make sure there's nothing going on. There's been times when I thought everything was just fine, and then I did this and found all kinds of things. So this I'm gonna use, it's a little taller than everything else. I'm gonna cut it back, and I'm gonna use it in another little project. All right, we'll continue to clean things up. So this, I believe, is a type of like Dusty Miller. I believe they're like in a Senecio family, I think. And so I'm going to pull off. These have not really looked great. They honestly didn't even look that great outside. So I was hoping to kind of be able to revive them in the spring, but I am going to go ahead and cut that one back a little and make it just look a little bit more full and nicer. So we'll just cut back the junky stuff. There's lots of dead in here, especially at the bottom. And again, while you have it out, be looking, you know, be looking for bugs and stuff. Okay, so now let's look in the pot. Looking good. Still a few dead ones in there we're gonna pull out. Okay. See how much better that looks? All right, continue on. You guys just have to see this. I just pulled this pot up forward from the back. And look at this glorious coleus. Isn't it not so pretty? I mean, it's like a stinking tree. It is basically probably 3 foot tall. Wow, that is so cool. The only thing I need to do on this is take off the few blooms that are on there, but other than that, this thing looks amazing. I just want to make sure I give it enough space. Isn't it funny about coleus how they start out? Look at that. They start out and they're like different colors. That right there with the hot pink is the same plant as all that burgundy. Kind of amazing to me how they do that. I don't really understand why they do that, but I'm just loving these huge ones that I brought in for the winter. So here's my progress so far. And I wanted to show you I'm finally getting some walkway room here because I'm getting more things up onto this table now that I have two. But what I really wanted to show you is this. I'm super excited about this. This is a mandevilla, and it's a pink, hot pink blooming one, and I've never brought one in before. So Dan, the one that I did his indoor garden tour and outdoor garden tour, kind of inspired me to try to overwinter these because these are like $20 a piece. So I want to show you something super exciting. Look at this. All new growth. New growth. And look at this. Where did I put it? Hold on. I'll find it. Look at this. All the way up to here. New growth. So I'm very excited that I brought this in. Now my other one looks pretty crappy because I haven't cleaned it up yet. But once I clean it up, hopefully it'll look as good as the other one. Okay, so now the two tables are totally full, and that has given me some more walking room, but it's still not great. So I'm going to show you where everything's sitting, okay? Still on the floor, and that's going to have to get fixed. This can't stay like this because I can't get in here, I can't move around, I can't work, I don't like this. So you see there's just stuff still sitting all over, stuff not getting the sun, the light that it needs. So this is still gonna get worked on. So how I'm gonna figure this out is I'm gonna take, and down here, my husband bought me a new shop light. I'm gonna hang that shop light up here. I'm gonna get a new long white table for right in there, so we'll straighten up the storage stuff, put a long white table right there, and all my tall things will go up under that, like, well, probably put my big macho fern. I'm overwintering these hibiscus, tropical hibiscus, for a neighbor. There's the other one. Those are all gonna go back in here, and that's going to be a different day, but back in here under the new grow light that'll be up there. But for now, what I need to do is start working on what's going to go over there and what's actually going to go under grow lights, because I really need those grow lights for starting seeds. So I'm going to have to get things even more under control. So just another example of how much stuff is in here, and I can't hardly get to my water. I can't walk past this. Look at though, I wanted to show you this. Is that not just amazing? Look at how happy and bloomy those are. I'm really excited about it. But I also, while I'm back in here, look at this. See the sparkly? That's all slugs. So that plant's gonna have to get looked at. Here is the key lime upside, I don't think it's upside down, but key lime upside something. And I wanted to show you the difference. I've cleaned this one out. See how beautiful that looks? And look at these tendrils that just go. So if you had this in a really nice tall tutor, this would just fill the whole thing out. And that's how I plan to use it next year. So I'm hoping to keep this thing alive. It's a little thinned out, but you know, now that I'll be down here more and taking better care of things, that should be a better solution for them. And look at this. So here's the other one that I haven't cleaned out yet. You can see the difference. That one looks, this is fuller obviously, but this one I think looks happier. So here's the difference. I'm not 100% done, but I'm pretty close. So I have things sitting right here, the big tall things that are going to go under the grow light on the new table that's going to go behind me. I have another table added, and so now everybody's happily on there. And once we get the grow lights working on this side, that will help these to get more sun. I put these up here so they're not on the floor. They have room. They will get more light as we get all the grow lights on. and they're all cleaned up. The smaller coleus will all be kind of on the floor next to the grow lights. That's enough light for them. I'm gonna go around the corner, show you how much better this looks now. And there's back in there. Okay. So I made a ton of progress. I still have some things sitting on the shelves that are gonna need to be cut back and not cut back, I'm sorry, moved into another space because I need room for my seeds. But overall, I'm pretty happy with the way this is looking. And I'm gonna stop for now, and then tomorrow we're gonna hang the new grow light and we're gonna move all this stuff that's big, that's on the floor, will get moved under that, and that will free this up for only small little coleus at the base of the lights. And I am gonna start some seeds pretty soon because one of the things that I wanna grow for my daughter, and it's the first time I've tried this, is Lysianthus. And you have to start that really early. And I'm also gonna start some of that silver sage, because things that don't bloom, you can kind of start them earlier, like the coleus even. I mean, as long as you have room to up pot them and care for them, which I don't, so I won't start that soon. The final thing I want to talk to you about is watering. And with these plants being inside, you really only need, most of them, to water, especially the coleus and things. You really only need to water them about every 3 days. Reason why is if you water them too much, one, they're not outside, they're not getting wind, they're not drying out that way, they're not getting hot sun, so they just don't need as much. But then also, if you overwater, it just increases your risk of, you know, fungus and fungus gnats, which has really been my biggest problem. This year though, my biggest problem has been slugs. And all of those pots that you saw that had the slime on them, I'm gonna put slug bait in the bottom of the pot. And so hopefully that will take care of my biggest issue. So this is it for today, and tomorrow I will show you the rest once we get the big plants off the floor. And then it'll be time to start doing some seeds. I'm really excited about that. See you guys soon tomorrow. So it's day number 2, and I had my little helper here with me, and she is just amazing. She helps me get stuff done so fast, me and her working together. So that pot right there with the macho fern was sitting almost all the way out to where the legs of the exercise bench is now. And when you came around the corner, you could not see any carpet, because it was all clutter. And looky there. Alright, so if we go over here, look what we did. We got the table set up. We got the new shop light put up. Those are all just boxes for Christmas sitting up there in games, but this stuff here now all is getting some decent light. I do know I need to stake those hibiscus. But anyway, now all the big stuff has plenty of room. It's getting light, and look, wherever you see a circle is where I had stuff on the floor and you couldn't walk. All the way, see all those circles, all the way back there, and you just couldn't barely walk through here. So I went ahead and put a few of the coleus up next to the lights because that's good enough for them. And then look at our table, or two. So here's the thing, is last year at this time, well, not at this time, last year I used these 2 tables for all the things as they got bigger that I grew from seed. And since those are already taken, I've determined that this back here is going to be where I start up potting, and I'll slowly get lights for this. And all of my up potted stuff, my bigger plants as the coleus and all that, as they get bigger, will go on these before they either get sold or put outside. And then this is the last area I have to still go through and organize in my whole house. And then see all the stuff lick off the floor where the circles are. I mean, I just could not get through anywhere, and now everything is pretty cleared off, ready for seed starting. I do have this is for my giveaway arrangements that I make for people, but I believe most of these lights are burnt out, and I do have some new ones, so I'm going to work on that tomorrow, trying to get these all going. I'm really pleased with how amazing this looks. I cannot wait to see seed trays and babies sprouting. It's going to be very exciting. All right, you guys, I'm going to leave you with this view. I hope that you enjoyed this video. One thing I just want to say really quick is I do hope that you'll consider maybe bringing some plants in. If you do have any winter blues at all, it really makes the biggest difference for me to be able to handle them, to cut them back, to move them around, just to see them. And then also, I didn't even think about this, but my helper, she said, even just being down here and all this light is good for you in the winter. And I said, that's true. And so I just hope that you will, you know, consider bringing some things in, consider, you know, buying a few lights, maybe growing some seeds. It's so satisfying, and that's kind of what I'm hoping to maybe encourage you as I do these videos. All right, we will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.